Good afternoon. If we can get started, I want to make sure that we get to the fun part of this program quickly. I'd like to welcome today our many members, our guests who are with us today, and our representatives from the media. We certainly appreciate all of you being here, and especially our grant recipients. I think they're spread out, so I can't focus on one table, but thank you all to those. As you well know, this organization runs like clockwork. You can't really mess up. We have a lot of volunteers, and the success of this organization is due to the board. We have a really strong board. Also, next year, our chair-elect, Lou Cheek, has become my mentor and trusted friend. We've gotten to know each other and have really worked strongly together, and she will accomplish all those things that I didn't get to. So I'm really excited to have her next year. I'm also proud of the board this year. I'm going to call your names if you'll just stand up, and because I want everybody to see what a well-rounded group we have. If you'll hold your applause to the end. Of course, Lou Cheek will be our chair-elect. Ann Trotter, this is the board of directors for this year, was our past chair nominating chair. Debbie Lehman, corresponding secretary. Claudia Schmidt, our recording secretary. Dr. Leanne Caldwell, communications. These are our committee chairs. Carol Bennett, education. Suzanne Denning, finance. Suzanne is not well and is not here today, but she will be leaving our board. And I can't tell you, she's been on the board for quite a number of years and has kept us straight with all of the balance sheets. She taught us how to read those, so we appreciate it. Susan Rice, governance. Lee Ash, grants. Joanne Herbert is grants chair-elect. Becky McKenzie was our membership chair. Linda Dickey, special events. Linda will also be leaving our board this year, but we tried to overwhelm her. She came in for Janet McKnight mid-year, and we did our best to overwhelm her, but she would not fall. So she did a great job, and we appreciate it so much. And our members at large, Julie Batchelor. And Julie will be also leaving our board this year. She certainly will miss her insight and her contributions. We appreciate it. Dr. Pam Fall could not be with us, but she was also on our board, member at large. Betty Meehan is not here, but she is our member at large. Nita Mulheron, Dr. Betty Pond. And our honorary members are, of course, Beth Evans and Carolyn Mond. And our ex officio members, Laverne Gold, who had a conflict, and Shell Berry. So if you can give a round of applause for these folks. I thank you, board. It's a great board. I'd also like those who have served on committees to stand, if you would. Thank you, committee folks. That you know this is where all the work is, so thank you, folks. And now those on the advisory board who are present, if you'll please stand and be recognized. Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Jeanette. On a sad note today, Rhonda Grable, who was also active in WIP, passed away on Wednesday. Her funeral was today at 11. Rhonda was our finance chair for many, many years and was also on the advisory board. We also have staunch WIP supporters who have passed away this year, Marianne Moore and Naomi Monge. And we have one member in the hospital still, Anita Wilds, who was hurt in the Zytec Corporation. I know you all remember her. If we can all just have a moment of silence for these members. Thank you very much. It's a sad note, but they would certainly want us to be right here doing what we're doing, because that's the important job. Finally, there's some individuals that we can't do without, who are really not on the board, but they are invaluable to us. Mark Alberton, our videographer. Most recently, he recorded, thank you. Most recently, he recorded our grant presentations for YouTube, which is a great way to see it. I hope all of you took advantage of that because it was just a wonderful presentation. We thank you for your willingness to serve and your talent. We certainly appreciate it. There are also several others who are invaluable to us. We welcome Shell Berry and Kelly Mercier from the Community Foundation. Kelly is the Director of Finance and Administration, and also Allison Bostic, who is not here, is the Foundation Associate, and she's our primary contact. She could not be here today, but we appreciate them very much. Thank you. We also welcome Teresa Harris and Angela Collins, who are here with United Way. Laverne Gold had a conflict and could not make it, but we certainly appreciate, and Lucinda Grace, who is retired from United Way, certainly helped me this year. She came back out of retirement to do a lot of the program and the mailing labels and all those good things that we need, so appreciation to those. These folks have kind of been rocks in our organization. They offer administrative help to WIP because we do not have anyone that's paid to do our administrative work, so they offer that service for us and our technical support. And Lee Ash can tell you we need a lot of technical support. So, and a very, very big thank you to the Community Foundation and Mark and Joanne Herbert. They were responsible for underwriting this annual meeting so that we could be able to include more guests. And a big, big round of applause for them. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Jane Howington, who will do our invocation. Jane has been teaching Bible study in, I think, 5 a week for the last 40 years. So she is in retirement, but agreed to do this for us today. So thank you so much, Jane.
Would you join me in giving thanks? Lord, it is indeed good to be here. We are thankful for this group of talented women who have given of their means and their time. We thank you that we live here in the CSRA, so much for which to be grateful. And we're thankful for this food that we are having. Lord, may we never forget how much we have and be so aware of those who do not have nearly what we have. In the name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, and Jesus. Amen.
I'm Ann Trotter, nominating chair for 2016-2017, and I'd like to present the nominating committee report. The nominating committee met on Saturday, January the 28th. Members of the committee included Lou Cheek, Beth Evans, Joanne Herbert, Carolyn Mond, Christy Mond, Becky McKenzie, Betty Meehan, Betty Pond, Susan Rice, and myself as chair. The following slate was presented for approval at the February 2nd, 2017 board meeting and was approved as presented. As I call your name, would you please stand? Chair, Lou Cheek. Chair-elect, Carol Bennett. Communications, Dr. Leanne Caldwell. Corresponding Secretary, Debbie Lehman. Education, Floride Dickert. Finance, Dr. Avis Yant. Governance, Susan Rice. Grants Chair, Lee Ash. Grants Chair-elect, Joanne Herbert. Membership, Becky McKenzie. Nominating, Christy Mon. Recording Secretary, Claudia Schmidt. Special Events, Beth Jones. At-large members, Laurie Easterlin, Dr. Pam Fall, Betty Meehan, Nita Mulherin, and Dr. Betty Pond.
You have heard This slate of officers recommended for 2017-2018. This comes as a recommendation from nominating. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It carries. Thank you.
And that took care of that. I am not Suzanne Denning. I am here to channel Suzanne because this is the time each year when you get your financial report for Women in Philanthropy. This is your money. So you'll find on the table a financial report. Okay, there's only one copy you get to share. But Suzanne wants you to pay particular attention to these numbers on that report. First, the balance in the operating checking account as of yesterday was $6,335.88. Pretty good. The expenses that you see on that report, $5,734.98, are for postage, printing, website, and meeting expenses. As Christy mentioned earlier, we don't have a lot of operating expenses in this organization. The combined balance of all Women in Philanthropy temporarily restricted grant accounts as of yesterday was $142,853.69. These funds are the funds currently being collected from membership. And these are the funds that are invested with the Community Foundation in a bond fund and a balanced pool fund during the year so that we can earn and we can continue to grow that money. Last year, the net earnings on these accounts were just over $6,500. The balance in the endowment fund as of yesterday was $353.89.30. $27,021 of that total is accumulated spendable earnings. For all of the investment funds, the annual interest earned in our investment accounts was $7,320.72, and the earnings from investments held by the Community Foundation was $26,387.74. Quite a good showing, Suzanne would like me to tell you, especially when you consider that our administration and investment expenses that we pay for that were only $6,675.57, significantly lower than what we earned. Suzanne also wants you to know about a significant accomplishment that the Finance Committee and the board made this year. In order to clarify, clearly define, and simplify the grants allocation process, the Financial Committee presented a 3-level grant funding formula. The board approved this formula, and we began using it this year. Here's the 3 levels. At level 1, the first 100 members' contributions will be allocated 60% to funding grants in that current period and 40% to funding the endowment. Level 1 reflects the original formula that was being used established by the 100 founding members and was being used to establish an endowment fund that will support and enhance women in philanthropy and sustain us through lean times. At level 2, the next 25 members' contributions will be allocated 85% to funding grants in the current period and 15% to funding the endowment. After that, at level 3, after 125 members, all subsequent members' contributions are allocated 100% to funding grants in the current period. This year, The board voted to allocate $14,000 from the endowed spendable earnings to enhance that formula, which would have allocated $120,250. So based on that combination of the formula and the additional $14,000, the grants total was $134,250,000. 134. That's a lot. The balance of 2016 contributions, $43,750, have been added to the endowment fund to keep it growing. This also allowed us to move $5,000 to an operating account, because we do that every year, and to earmark monies for a possible anniversary gift. We made this change as a finance committee and as a board in response to your questions about how the endowment works and how funding for grants works, and to provide more money for grants. Our old formula was excellent in the early days of this organization when we were still getting our feet, but this new formula will allow more flexibility, and the bottom line, the more we grow, the more we can give.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Avis, I don't know how you feel about that, but if I were you, I would teach Claudia how to channel you also, because that was an excellent, excellent report. As you heard at the end of that financial report, there was mention made of a possible anniversary gift. And this is something that the Anniversary Planning Committee has considered over the past year and has recommended to the board that we indeed establish an anniversary gift next year. And so, on recommendation of the WIP board, I move that $10,000 be set aside from the WIP endowment interest to fund a special 10th anniversary gift to be presented to a former grantee in the fall, with selection details to be determined by Grants Committee.
You have heard this recommendation from the 10th Anniversary Committee. All in favor? Any opposed? This motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll certainly be sharing more information on this as the year goes along. And for those of you who don't know, I am Lou Cheek, and at the present time, I am serving as the chair of the Anniversary Committee, and this past year, as well as chair-elect. And I want to share a little bit with you about what we've been doing this past year as a committee. And celebrate is what we're all about. And you celebrate to commemorate, to do something special for important occasions, and so, I mean, who doesn't like to celebrate? And that's what we are planning to do in Women in Philanthropy all during the year next year. We'll take a whole year to recognize our 10th anniversary. We will be celebrating WIP, we'll be celebrating what we have accomplished, we'll be celebrating our grantees, and we'll try to get a little excited about what the next 10 years are going to bring. I think we'd all agree that we're not in Women in Philanthropy for the recognition. That's not why we're here today. That is not why we make our annual gift. However, I do think that collectively we do a wonderful job for this community, and we represent our mission well. We serve our mission well. And I think at the end of 10 years, it's a good time to celebrate that and to let other people know about it. And the committee certainly has done a good job this year of trying to pull together some ideas to enable us to do that next year. I will tell you that the surveys that you recently returned to us, and thank you to the many of you who did that, they were wonderfully diverse in their comments, and we've tried to incorporate some of those comments in our planning. But the other thing I will tell you that they were all in agreement about is the satisfaction that you have as a member of WIP and what we do and what we have accomplished. And so I certainly think that deserves celebration at least once every 10 years. So we hope this will be an exciting time to recognize what we've done, where we've been, and plan a little bit about where we're going. Our committee, in addition to myself, includes Christy Mon, Carol Bennett, Suzanne Denning, Lee Ash, Leanne Caldwell, Beth Evans, Linda Dickey, Kay Ward, and Anita Wiles. And just to give you an idea of what we're looking at, we're going to take some of our regular events and try to make them a little more special, to highlight specific things. As you know, each fall we usually recognize our grantees at the Fall Forum, and this year will not be any different, but we do hope to do it on a bit larger scale by inviting back as many of our 41 grant recipients over the past 9 years as are able to join us and share their progress since receiving their grant. Their success is indeed partly our success, and we want to hear more about each one of them. The plan is to set up information tables where our members can browse, get updates, ask questions, and get one-on-one presentations from our grantees. Instead of the just several that we usually do, we'll have everybody there so that you can find out a little bit more from everyone. The one special presentation we hope to have at the Fall Forum is our 10th anniversary gift to a deserving former recipient. So thank you for your vote earlier. I think this is something that will be exciting and allow us to share our anniversary with the people that we have helped over the last 9 or 10 years. During the year, we also want WIP to arrange group visits or lunch and learns to grant recipient locations. This is something that a number of you asked for, and so we'd like to see that take place and see what our grantees do in action. So I hope you'll be interested enough to take part in some of these brief visits, and please, to any of these events, feel free to bring a guest, because that's how we can tell our story best. We also hope later in the fall to recognize our founding members at an event where we can present our formal written history. Not that anybody needs reminding of the success, but we want others to know what has been accomplished. And the history is a written project that's been underway for over a year now, and it will be posted on the website for all to share before Christmas. And it actually is a compilation of the very events that we're celebrating, our multiple grants, as well as some of the milestones and some of the highlighting some of the active members over the years. It also means that for those of us who have multiple boxes of WIP records under our beds and in our attics can now haul these out and archive them, because we will have it hopefully all in one location. Now, as we enter the new year, 2018, we'll shift from the past to the now and the future, beginning with smaller social networking event in the winter where we can invite friends to see what we're all about. And this is not something where we'll be going to do presentations. It's just going to be a chance to socialize and to welcome new members. During the course of the year, as you know, we've been doing the long-range planning, so actually we've become the anniversary long-range planning committee. And we have compiled, and we are studying your recent comments on the surveys, and we'll be holding focus groups with the various committees throughout the year to actually put together a long-range plan, which we'll present in January for consideration. And we'll present it along with about a 3-year timeline, so it'll give committees a chance to review the recommendations and see what is viable to put in place to keep us going strong for the next 10 years. It'll also be put on the website in late winter. So since part of our celebration is to look forward, we hope you will join us in this important undertaking, because I think it's something that will benefit WIP in the long run. If any of you were not able to fill out a survey and you're interested in doing so, there's some extras back on the membership table today. So please take just a few minutes and fill them out and leave them back there, and we'll be glad to pick them up after the meeting. And finally, we'll finish our year right here next March with our 10th annual meeting, and we hope to feature a speaker who will challenge us and who will motivate us as we begin our next 10 years. We'll also be making our annual grants at that meeting, and if all goes well, we should exceed $1 million in total giving next year. And that will be a wonderful way to celebrate 10 years. And throughout the rest of the year, WIP Life is going to go on as usual. Grants Committee works year-round. They'll continue to do that. Membership will be maintaining, recruiting new members. Education and communications will be working to keep us informed, and we'll have a few new items that they'll be involved in next year. Finance and governance will keep us solvent and in line with what's required to keep us viable. So watch for updates on our website and in our newsletter. We won't overwhelm you with email blasts, but we have discovered that they work. So we will continue to communicate specific events with those. And Christy's done a wonderful job this year, and I'd love to give her a round of applause because she really has been an excellent leader, and she has encouraged us all to become more engaged, and many of you have responded, and we thank you so much. Your board appreciates the engagement that you have done in the past year. I encourage you to continue that because what we can do collectively is enormous. And so join us, celebrate WIP, celebrate our accomplishments, celebrate those we've helped, and celebrate yourselves. So join us all year long as we celebrate. Thank you.
I'm Lee Ash. I'm chair of the grants committee for this year. And my arm was twisted, and I am chair for next year for 10 years, which will be a great thing to celebrate. Here we are. We have 10 agencies that we have awarded funds to for this year. If you recall, that is the number that was on your ballot. So for this year, we have a lot of firsts, the first of which is that all 10 agencies, we were able to fund all 10 agencies with something. We had more people vote than have ever voted before. Almost 66% of you voted, which is wonderful. And we also have given the largest award we have ever been able to give before. So it's been a great 9th year. Hopefully this will continue till next year too, because I'll have to stand up here again and say probably the same thing. Those of you who know me, and especially those on the grant committee or on the WIP board, know that arithmetic, and yes, it was called arithmetic when I was in school, is not one of my talents. I seem to cause math mayhem at the simplest of tasks. With this in mind, given that grants is in every single way about the numbers, I have been very diligent in checking and rechecking the following statistics. I think you will be astounded and very surprised. The number of women and children by the funding of the 12 grants that you voted on is 2,405. Or to put it in more realistic terms, imagine that each of you have 14 and a half children. This figure comes just from the agency application. And it's the question above, question number 1. So I didn't make that up, and I checked it about 10 times. So what it does not represent are the permutations and combinations of grandmothers, sisters, cousins, friends, and yes, little boys and dads affected by those who receive direct assistance. For further mathematical thought and breakdown, think of your $1,000 as part of the whole $250,000. If you think of it this way, each individual receives $55.82. For this bargain basement price, you have taught a child to overcome serious disabilities and learn to read, to sail a boat and have stars in their eyes, to delight in creating colorful art while facing a very black and white disease. A computer will open a path to the future. An adult has learned to make change and to change his bed. A single book opens a world of possibility. Gardens and grandmothers join to help children bloom. A woman's health is no longer a hindrance. And families who have lost hope learn that they can cope. And at the end of the day, hearing the notes of a familiar song, memories are stirred and a happier time remembered. I know that this is an unusual way to view the value of your dollars, but it puts our work into perspective for me. The Grants Committee has the luxury of meeting and talking and visiting with these amazing agencies and with the everyday people who make things happen with so little. We as a group are humbled and very grateful. I call the committee my village. I hope that we have raised up grants right. It has truly been a joint venture, and I thank my committee for raising me up right too. And now if they would stand, please, because I didn't want to leave anybody out. The Grants Committee, please stand. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your input, your help. It's an unusual committee, very diverse, but we all came together. And as I mentioned before, this is the first year we've been able to grant everyone on the ballot. And it was a unanimous decision of the committee that every place we visited and those that wound up on the ballot were so deserving that they all got a little piece of the pie. So that was wonderful to be able to do that. One of the agencies asked me, how many votes did we get? And and did we get the most, and were we first? Actually, I think all of them would like to know where they stood. And I can tell you that every agency was first on someone's ballot, and every agency was last on someone's ballot. So, given that, we don't say who's first and who's second and who's third. So I will proceed alphabetically to award the grants. If Christy will come up and she can present the check, sort of, and we will go from there. First up is the Augusta College of Education. Let me just say this. In the past, we have not had 10 agencies, and everyone has said a little spiel about that. This year, I took that burden off of them, and across the board, they were so very happy that they did not have to speak and just say thank you, that meant that you have to listen to me say a little something about everyone, just as a reminder of what your dollars have gone for. This is Dr. Catherine Henderson, who is assistant professor, and Dr. Karen Hyde. I'm sorry. I know. She's the executive director of the Art Play Studio Center for Innovation and Community Engagement. This $18,050 grant will supply the seed money for the purchase of supplies and equipment for the studio to expand services to children and their families, volunteering their artistic talents, underlining volunteering the last year, and their paint on their lunch hour. Catherine and Karen recognize the need and value of art therapy. The Art Play Studio is an educational and therapeutic art program dedicated to children receiving medical care at the Augusta University Children's Hospital of Georgia. According to current research, benefits for patients participating in visual arts programs in a healthcare setting include reduced stress and negative emotions and increased positive emotions, focusing attention on imagination instead of on their illness. Children and siblings and caregivers will be invited to participate in the visual arts projects, including painting, drawing, and clay. A portion of this grant will fund graduate assistants from the College of Education who have an interest in art therapy. With an eye to the future, they hope to develop a curriculum for an art and medicine degree at AU. It's an up-and-coming field. It's an exciting collaboration between the hospital and the university. And it is with pleasure that Christy awards you your grant. Okay. Next up is the Augusta Literacy Center. Dr. Paulette Harris is the executive director, and Eleanor Taylor, is the assistant director. Here you go, Kristen. Sailing, their project is called Sailing, which stands for Sailing, Arts, Interest, Literacy, Innovation, Nature, and Girls. Sailing is a free, innovative literacy program combining post-baccalaureate training for gifted teachers who supply 16 weeks of tutoring for exceptional girls 8 through 13. Even though gifted, many of these girls exhibit symptoms of ADHD, autism, and dyslexia. They are much more likely than boys to be misdiagnosed and misunderstood. Thus, their nickname, the Invisible Girls. Tutoring will be followed by a 6-day camp held on the Somerville AU campus and the Augusta Sailing Club. Activities include a planetarium program about the phases of the moon and the solar eclipse that's going to happen in August of 2017. Put that on your calendars. A literacy theater workshop, hands-on science experiments, and an arts project designing and painting the sails that will be used in their final project, which is sailing with the Augusta Sailing Club. With the funds from WIP and the generosity of the Augusta Sailing Club and tickets for the planetarium show and the purchase of the Roots of Reading Seeds of Science curriculum and stipends for the tutors, the Augusta Literacy Center will sail into summer with the help of 25 exceptional girls. I'm pleased to present your award of $11,300. Okay, Augusta Heritage Academy. We have Julie Tollison and Molly. Is Molly coming? Their program is the Dyslexia Outreach Program. This program provides testing and tutoring at no charge to children in grades kindergarten through 8th grade. This after-school program is open to students from all over the CSRA, both public and private. The objective of this community outreach is to continue to provide dyslexia testing and tutoring to all program participants at no cost. Currently, there is no screening or remediation available for dyslexia in the public school system. As a result, word has spread about the program at Heritage Academy, and the wait list for the children has grown. The need for trained tutors is urgent. WIP funding will be used to train the tutors for testing students and for technology. Strict adherence to the Barton Reading and Spelling program ensures success for the student and relief for the parents as their child begins to understand and enjoy school. We are happy to award you $21,400 to instigate this program. Augusta Locally Grown. We have Kim Hines, who is Executive Director, and Candace Zukas. Is that right? Okay, she's a member of their board. Augusta Locally Grown encourages the community to create a more vibrant local food system throughout the CSRA, particularly in low-income areas. The Miss Willie project, I forgot to tell you the name of the project, this was my favorite project title, I'm sorry y'all, but it was. It's called Blueberries for Miss Willie. The Miss Willie project focuses on senior women in the Harrisburg area, providing them mentorship and companionship, teaching them how to grow and prepare fruits and vegetables for themselves and their families. As a part of the Grow Harrisburg initiative, each resident may request up to 4 beds during their first year that consists of the garden bed frame, filler soil, seasonal seedlings, and gardening tools as needed. Our award of $5,000 will purchase supplies and engage a gardening companion to help enroll women in cooking and gardening classes, provide opportunities to take part in volunteer events, and to mentor their gardening activities. Healthy, homegrown food and sharing your bounty with neighbors seems like a thing of the past. Thank you, Ms. Willie, for planting a seed for the future. Augusta Technical College Foundation. We have with us Beverly Peltier, Director of Institutional Advancement. Is Kimberly with you? Come along. Quickly. The Augusta Technical College Foundation will use their award of $5,000 to purchase college textbooks to be loaned to female students pursuing technical education at Augusta Tech. Single mothers, displaced homemakers, women with disabilities, and women in non-traditional career paths will check out their book and return it at the end of the semester for use by another student. The program is based on financial need, which for many of these women is dire. Those of us who have paid for college textbooks know the cost is high. Oftentimes, that this is the food budget for the month for a single-parent household. This program will help ease the burden for women who are seeking a way out and up through education. And along the way, they obtain a skill that will benefit us all. Thank you very much. Boys and Girls Club of the CSRA. Julie Ferguson. Is Al with you? Okay, that's okay. According to a 2012 study by the National Center for Women in Technology, inadequate computing education especially affects girls and youth of color, no matter how strong their test scores indicate their technical aptitudes. Our $5,000 grant will aid in introducing middle school girls to basic computing and coding and careers in information. Code Like a Girl is an extension activity. Isn't that that's another great name. Okay, maybe you get 1A. It's an activity of the Boys and Girls Club's Smart Girls program, which addresses the dearth of women in technical fields. If I could just compute like a girl and learn how to effectively cut and paste, I would be happy. Coding is out of reach for me. But for these young girls, a door may open that will give them the confidence to enter and compete in a field that our future depends upon. Thank you for opening this door. Harrisburg Family Healthcare. We have Dr. Cook and Marcia Jones, who support her. I am honored to say that WIP and everyone in this room is able to award this grant of $50,000. It's our largest one to date. To an organization that benefits over 1,500 women in our community. 100 doctors, over 100 doctors, volunteer their time to this clinic. A nurse practitioner is critical to both the doctor and the patient, keeping doctors up to date on patient tests, and more importantly, providing the continuity of patient care that the patients deserve. Women wellness exams are provided at a minimal cost and include all diagnostic tests. Diabetes and heart issues are addressed, and patients are cared for or referred to a specialist. And many are able to avoid serious complications that result from ignored early symptoms. Thank you, Dr. Cook, for your tireless endeavors in keeping the doors open for so many of these women in need.
Thank you.
Immaculate Conception Catholic School. Allison. Oh, I thought I saw you. I thought I had seen you. Allison Palfy is principal Boy, what a job. Their program is called RISE, which means Real Independence for Special Education Students. RISE is an innovative program that seeks to teach special education students sustainable life skills essential for transition from school to adult independence. Students will actively participate in a year-long hands-on approach using basic principles of math, writing, and reading. Our funds will help set up a life skills classroom for this group of special young adults. An oven, a washer and a dryer, adaptive cookware, a bed and bedding, a cash register, a credit card machine, shelving and carts, laptop computers. Everyday tasks that are a challenge to those who do not know how to do them. Learning to accomplish these skills will translate into a job and independent living and a sense of purpose and pride. Allison, you saw a need and developed a common sense way to fulfill it. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, Judd Hickey. We have Alan Griffin and Jan Wiggins with us. We all have a favorite song, one that makes us break out and dance or remember a cherished event. Imagine that your memories are just out of reach, that confusion and sadness are who you think you are. Imagine that one note, one stanza of song ignites that spark of recognition, and you begin to tap your toes and swing and sway to memories from happier times. Through this music therapy program at the Day Center, Alzheimer's and Dementia Day clients will use speakers, headphones, and specialized song lists to help ease stress, improve communication, and create positive changes in moods and emotional states by using cherished songs from their past. Thank you, Jennifer Pennington, who could not be with us today, and she's the executive director at the Hickey Center, for composing a score that will delight so many. Please accept this award of $4,000. And last but not least, Walton Foundation. Vicki Green, who is the Vice President of Development, is with us. Our funding will provide 6 families a chance to go to camp for the weekend with their physically disabled child. Mothers, dads, and siblings can experience fishing, biking, paddle boating, wall climbing, archery, putt-putt, zip lining, tennis, arts and crafts, or participate in a talent show. It is a place where families can see the abilities of their child, as well as network with other families who face the same challenges. 2 nights of lodging, 6 meals, snacks, t-shirts, backpacks, all of the necessities of camp will be provided. Thank you, Vicki, for being their counselor. Okay, well, our work is done for I don't even know what month it is. March. I hope that all of you have a sense of pride and that you are a part of WHIP and of the difference that the few dollars that we have makes in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee, and thank you, Grants Committee. That was wonderful. And congratulations to all of the grantees. We're really looking forward to hearing back reports on your various projects. It's always exciting to see our mission fulfilled. I just want to thank the Special Events Committee and Linda Dickey and all of your folks for this nice event today, and to always also thank the Always Gracious Country Club and our generous sponsors. We had sponsors this year, and I think that was certainly much appreciated. If you would like to get more involved, please let us know. All of our committees work year-round, and everybody is always looking for some additional help. So please, if that's something that you would like to be more involved in, let us know. If you are an existing member, please, and haven't renewed, please renew today on your way out. If you are visiting us as a guest, we would love to have you join us. I think you can see from the presentations today what we do as a group. It really benefits our community, and the more of us, the more we're able to do. So we hope that you will join us and help us do more. I hope to see all of you celebrating WIP this year, and before anyone leaves, if you are an outgoing or an incoming board member, or if you are a grantee, please meet next door by the fireplace for pictures before you leave. If you don't fall into that group, thank you so much for attending, and have a great year. Thanks.